Uh, sorry. Great. Is this on? We're good. Great team victory. Credit the guys. I mean, that was a heck of a ball game. High level basketball. A lot of runs back and forth. The crowd was unbelievable. I think our guys really fed off of that, especially end of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter when we started making a run. It was a struggle for us in that third quarter. Just had no rhythm, no pace. But I felt like once we kind of got clicking and we got a couple of stops and we got out running and Ja had a couple big plays there, it just kind of reignited us. And then just to kind of bear down in that fourth quarter, come up with some big stops. They made some runs. I mean, it's just a credit. Our guys continue to get better every single day. The execution on both ends of the floor. I mean, we changed up coverages, I think, 3 different times in the fourth quarter, changed up matchups, and then, to execute some high-level plays for our guys. I'm really proud of them. And yet again, I think our bench had like 32 points. The energy that they gave us, in the first half was huge for us. I think we were a little stagnant, kind of fell, into the pace that the Jazz wanted to play at, but then that second group got us going, and that was huge. I mean, they've been great for us the last couple games, and to be able to have that balance, from not just production, but the energy, for our starters and our backups, that was huge for the win tonight.
Questions?
Coach, you got a lot of production from your vets, Kyle Anderson, Jay Crowder, Solomon Hill. What did you think about their performance?
I mean, they've been doing that for a good stretch now. I think they continue to put in the work. I mean, they're the ones that voiced it, after practices in the film session, how the second group's got to bring the life. They got to bring the juice. They got to, continue to build on the runs that our starters create, or if we need a boost coming off the bench, those guys are very vocal and they back it up with their play. I'm super proud of them. I mean, they're making plays on both ends of the floor, super vocal in the timeouts, keeping the spirits up, through the runs that, teams are going on us. But those guys were huge tonight. I mean, Kyle, I think, had a great stat line, made some shots, but some big defensive plays. Solo, some energy plays, diving on the floor, coming up with some loose balls. I mean, those things matter. I mean, we talk about making winning plays. It's not always about how you score. It's about how you defend, how you make the hustle plays to kind of ignite your team. And those guys were huge for us tonight.
3 straight wins, 4 of 6. For you, what have you seen in this team's mentality that's kind of shifted over that span? I remember earlier in the season when they lost in LA, it was you or somebody in the locker room said that, once veteran teams or 11 teams starts to punch, you got to learn how to get back. It seems like they've been doing that more.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a change in our mentality. I think our guys are starting to get more confidence in how we want to play. They've been a competitive bunch from the start, but they're starting to realize how you got to compete at a higher level each possession, each quarter, and especially when teams go on runs. That's been a huge learning opportunity for us. I think our guys are embracing that. They've had to take a couple of hits, to kind of rebound from that. But the trust in their teammates is starting to grow even more. So it's obviously, as I've said, it's great when you get wins to kind of just solidify, what they're doing. But how they're playing, from the start of the game to the end of the game, these cycles that we're talking about, we're creating our own runs now, especially, to counter when teams go on runs. It's just a mentality. I think the guys are starting to see what we're capable of doing, and it's a credit to them to now continue to back that up night after night after night. That's the challenge of the NBA. 82 games. Can you sustain that game after game after game, quarter after quarter after quarter? And, again, all the credit goes to those guys to really buy in and take what we've learned, in the first couple of games to have this, good little run here the last week.
Coach, what were you expecting from Utah on that last possession? If you can comment on the defense and obviously the strip from Solomon Hill to end it.
So, credit to our assistant coaches, watching a lot of film. They talked about how they do some decoy screening actions and try to get a shooter to come out to the corner. We were in a switch defense. Gobert was setting a great screen, but I think, Dylan and Kyle ended up with a great switch. There was a huge cluster down there, so we were switching everything before the ball was inbounded. And then just disciplined to, play without fouling. I'm hopeful that he got all ball. I think he got all ball. But to be able to be disciplined to execute red, I hit him, in the Charlotte game we were red and we got lucky. We didn't switch everything. We got a little lucky, but the guys committed to it tonight. They were communicating early. We come up with a huge stop. It's a great way to put a stamp on a big win for us.
Coach, obviously an emotional game for the franchise, for the city, for the fans, everybody. How did you kind of manage that, and did your guys kind of feed on the love for Mike Conley and everything?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of love in the building tonight. I'm super happy, for Mike Conley, his family. I mean, this was special. He's meant so much to the organization, to the city, and to have all the fans come and show that love and support that's, you know, dear and true and that'll last forever. And then to show that same thing for, you know, the new generation of the Grizzlies too. You know, it was just a fun night all around. And as I said at the beginning, like to have the crowd get, you know, ignited, you know, in moments throughout the game. And I mean, it's fun, like as a coaching staff and as our players, I mean, they feed off of that. You know, the players get the crowd going, the crowd gets the players going. But, you know, to manage the emotions, we just focus on going out there and playing and just trying to compete. And, you know, I think it's just the nature of the game. You know, we're doing well, we're competing hard, and it's great that our fans are backing us and supporting us. And, you know, to have that feed and that relationship, it's fun. And, you know, this is going to be something to be excited about moving forward.
Any final questions?
Just thoughts on Ja and the confidence that he plays with is fairly striking this early in his career.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, I like to throw a word, it's a humble confidence. You know, he's, you know, super aggressive in all areas of the game. I mean, he's super aggressive in how he wants to get better. I mean, he's learned so much in, you know, 12 games now, going back, watching film, how teams are guarding him, how he can set up his teammates, how he can make an impact. But, you know, he, from the first day we met him, and you saw this humble, you know, humility, but also this confidence that he can be great. You know, but he wants to do it with his team. He wants to make the plays to help his team, whether it's him to score, him to play make, you know, trust in the pass. You know, Jay hits a big three in the fourth quarter. You know, he could easily try to go one-on-one. You know, we've seen that throughout moments. And then defensively, he's starting to take huge steps in, you know, defending. I mean, you know, Conley tonight, tough matchup. Other nights, you know, tough matchups. But that, you know, confidence is something that, you know, permeates throughout the team. And I love having guys that are confident, and it's great to have him kind of be one of our leaders in that front.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.